Here is my combined 11 for tomorrow's game of Liverpool versus Manchester United at Anfield. This will be based off not only form but also availability, so players like Konate won't be shown in this team since he's still injured. We're going to start off in the goalkeeper position where we have Alisson Becker versus Onana. Alisson is obviously one of the best goalkeepers in the world currently, and when we look at this position, we need to see a goalkeeper who not only is good on the ball but also feels comfortable with corners and set pieces. So with that, it's an easy Alisson win here. Going off to the right back position, we have Mazraoui versus Trent Alexander-Arnold. Mazraoui has not had a great start to his Manchester United campaign, whereas Trent Alexander-Arnold has had an exceptional season, where in the past he's had a lot of defensive woes or a lot of criticism for his defensive abilities. This season we've seen a lot less of that. We've seen a more solid defensive performance by Trent Alexander-Arnold consistently, so with that it's an easy Trent win here. Moving on to the right center back position, we have Kwanzaa, who is pretty much the only other center back for Liverpool currently available, and it's going to be versus De Ligt. De Ligt is, although he has not had a great start to his Manchester United campaign, he's still one of the more solid available center backs for that Manchester United side, whereas Kwanzaa on the other hand is still an inexperienced center back, and he has not found too much of a favor with Arne Slot lately. He's just not to the standard to where Arne Slot wants him to be at quite yet, but he still has huge potential. Even though that is the case, we still have to go with the Ligt here with the more experience. Going forward to the left center back position, we have Virgil van Dijk versus Martinez. Now Martinez has not had the greatest of seasons. Obviously, when we look back at some of his previous seasons, he was being up there with the conversation with one of the best center backs in the league. Unfortunately, that's not the case this season, where Lisandro has had a lot of woes and even been struck with a couple injuries. But when you compare him to the best center back in the world, Virgil van Dijk, it's a clear Virgil win here. So we go forward to the left back position where we have Andy Robertson versus Dalot. Now, although Andy Robertson has had a lot of issues this season and has been really the only flaw in this Liverpool side, he's still been performing well compared to the likes of Diogo Dalot, so it has to be a Robertson win here. Moving forward to the midfield positions, we see the first midfield battle. It's going to be McAllister versus Kobbie Mainoo. Now, if we were to do this last season, I would probably pick Mainoo, but this season he's been struck with injury and he's also been struck with bad performances. On the other side, we see McAllister, who has been arguably one of Liverpool's better midfielders this season, so with that, it has to be McAllister. Moving on to the next midfield position, more of a holding role, we see Gravenberch versus Ugarte. Ugarte started off his Manchester career pretty decently. He's been one of the more solid midfields in that line, but even so, Gravenberch is one of the best center mids in the league, and compared from last season to this season, the jump of performances that he's made as well as the consistency that he's had throughout the season, it has to be a clear Gravenberch win here. More of a center attacking midfield position, we have Szoboszlai versus Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes has had not the best of starts to his Manchester United career as well. Obviously, the whole team has not had great performances as of late, but Bruno Fernandes still has that ability to have a clinical final third performance, whether it's assisting, creating chances, or scoring on its own, where that's something that Szoboszlai himself lacks, and that's probably why we don't see him on the side quite often. With that, we have to bring Bruno Fernandes for this team. Going forward to the left wing position, we have Garnacho versus Gakpo. Garnacho has not been living up to the standard that maybe he himself has set, and is really flopping in terms of the comparisons to Cristiano Ronaldo, where on the other side we have Cody Gakpo, who has had some pretty clutch moments for Liverpool this season and has come up when they needed him the most. He's had some great goal contributions as of late, as well as has been one of the more better attacking players, and he's pretty much solidified himself on that left wing position. So with that, we have to pick Gakpo here. On to the right wing position, we have Amad Diallo versus Mohamed Salah. Although Diallo has been arguably Manchester United's best player this season and has had an outstanding start to the season, he's still compared and up against the best player in the Premier League and arguably the best player in the world as of right now, pulling up crazy assists and crazy goals. So with that, we have to pick Salah here. And lastly, onto the striker position, we have Luis Diaz versus Højlund has not been up to par lately for Manchester United. Still really lacking the goal threat that maybe he had in the Serie A, whereas Luis Diaz has slotted pretty much well into that striker position despite not being his preferred position, still having goal contributions, still scoring goals, and still having that trickery that he's known for. So with that, it has to be Luis Diaz here. But let me know if I missed any players, or if you guys would have preferred any different players over another. And who do you think is going to win this game, Liverpool or Manchester United?